quick unboxing video. The long-awaited Precision Turbo finally showed up after multiple phone calls, emails, etc. And here's how they come. You get a box inside of a box, and you can see right here it's the Gen 2 7675 T4 divided inlet. And this one, particular one, I had to settle for the 132 AR, which may work out just fine. I was supposed to have the 115 AR, but they talked me into the 132 in order to get it on time, or to get it faster. And I'll tell you that story in a minute, but here's what the box looks like. You open it up like this. We got the ISO quality thing. There's the box. And then come over here to the workbench. I'll show you what we've got. It would come in this shrink wrap blue bag situation. And then that with the turbo is inside this clamshell spray foam deal in the box, which is the second turbo that I've purchased that came like that. The VS Racing, same way, same packaging, which is kind of ironic. So I open up this turbo and get into that now, and it looks just really, it's pretty impressive when you open it up. One thing I noticed right out of the gate, just because I'm particular, is I'm seeing pitting right here. And that is pitting in the aluminum. And you'll notice it, yeah, right there as well. Sorry if it's not showing up good on the good old iPhone camera, but not real happy about that. Looking at it closely, it's on this tapered out outer flange. It really has nothing to do with the impeller housing on the compressor itself, but still, you pay a lot of money for this stuff. And there's a part of me that thought that these are new, and then there's another part in my memory that tells me that the Precision stuff is remanufactured, which means that this compressor housing came off of something out in the field. I have no idea. I don't know enough about it. Is it a Power Stroke diesel? Is it, who knows? I'm sure somebody knows, and somebody probably knows very readily what this came off of. But it looks to me like this was a used housing. They got it in. They, machined it to fit their impeller and cleaned it up. And as they're turning it on a lathe or whatever they're using, they, couldn't go deep enough to get this pitting out, right? So you live with the pitting, I guess. I don't know. I'm putting the question out to them. Obviously, they tout that they're ISO 9000 and everything's quality checked, and that's all over the packaging and the instructions. But that's not quality checked unless it, again, it's a remanufactured deal and it's not in the female side of the orifice itself, and so it's not going to affect it. But either way, it just kind of draws your eye to it, and you're like, brand new piece of equipment that I just paid a lot of money for, and it's got pitting in the aluminum. That sucks. But on to the positives. You just moving this turbo, just moving it, tilting it, it's so crazy how well the ball bearing turbo operates. Just moving it makes the impeller move. That's how loose this thing is. You just tap it with your finger and it just seems to kind of want to spin infinitely. It's crazy. So I did notice an immediate difference there from some of the other turbos that I've had in my life over the years. I've never had a ball bearing. This is my first one. I've always had the taper bearing, or whatever you want to call it, not a ball bearing. And then on the back side, you'll notice the 132 AR. And again, nice turbine. So a couple things. if you order a 7675, you can get the El Cheapo ones. They're not ball bearing turbos, first of all. Second of all, the biggest AR they come with is a 0.96, and you'll see those sold through Summit Racing and everybody else, and they're like half the price of this thing. But they're readily available, ready to go off the shelf. So there's pros and cons. For this application, being a 6.2 liter LS, I was told that the 9.6 AR would just develop too much back pressure and just wouldn't work out. So I wanted the 1.15 AR. It's not available yet. And so I settled for the 132, knowing that if I want to go to the 115, it's an easy swap out. But we're gonna see how the 132 works. It may work great on this car. The 132 is going to certainly help to reduce back pressure because it's a bigger housing than the 115. The give up is the spool time, right? So this turbo is probably going to spool a little bit slower than the 115. But that might be okay for me because I'm already going to have a traction problem with this car. So I'm not sure that I want it winding up incredibly fast anyway. We were already going to program the ECU to dump boost in, certainly not off the line. We were going to build boost once we get out of the hole. So that was the theory anyway. Of course, that always changes once you start driving the car. So we'll see how it works. But the end of the story is we can always change to the 115 AR down the road. Now, I did pay more money to get these little bits, which, you pay a lot of money for this stuff. You think it would come with them. It doesn't. This is a simple inlet. So it's a 4AN to 8th inch feed. So that's your oil coming in. And then this is your 10AN drain going back to your oil pan. So those go on the turbo right in those locations right there. And then you've got a T4 flange and V-band clamp, V-band flange. So the idea there is this will go onto this housing right here. Boom. It'll clamp on, and then we'll be welding a 3.5 inch down pipe to this right here, which will be the main exhaust for the car. And you get a wonderful, precision turbo sticker, and you get a nice little sheet that talks about, how to deal with oil lubrication to the ball bearing and what not to do, and some other parts you should buy, which I already bought right here. And then you get a nice little receipt that talks about, Gen 2, So just so you guys understand what took so long, this AR housing was not something that Precision had in the past. It's something that they have had a million requests for because of people running the, back in the day, it was always the 4.8s, the 5.3s, mostly in terms of LSs. And then you got some 6 liters. And that 9.6 AR, from what everybody's telling me, was pretty good on most of those. But you start to get 6 liter, 6.2, and beyond. And on a single turbo application, that 9.6 AR just limits out in terms of back pressure. And Precision started to see this and recognize this. And so they developed the 1.15 AR and the 132, which are brand new to the market. And that's what this is. And actually mine was, I'm told, and I could be wrong, one of the first fulfilled on an order. And here it is sitting here. So we'll be working to get this thing in the car and see what happens. And I'll keep you posted on what they say about that pitting and the aluminum. Have a good weekend.